Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
I swear YouTube is acting up because I hit the countdown, and normally after 10 seconds or so, it's supposed to show live on the YouTube side, and I hit refresh, and I had to hit it like 4 times before it registered that I was live on the YouTube side. So I was like ready to start start the stream. Going, am I live? I can't tell because YouTube was acting up. But anyway, yeah, just a little bit late. We were talking backstage, but we are back for the March 1s and 2s, and pretty appropriate that it's Leprechaun 1 and 2, given that St. Patrick's Day is in about 4 days. So it's going to be sandwiched between the first and the second Leprechaun films. And before I say hello to the chat, I have to say that I enjoy this movie. I watch it as like a straight horror comedy. You know, it knows what it is. It's one of those like rare instances where I love my siblings, where it knows what it is. Like, it doesn't try to be anything other than it's Warwick Davis plays a leprechaun, an evil leprechaun that's trying to get its gold, and mayhem ensues pretty much. And I'm like, Jennifer Aniston, you can deny all you want. You can ignore the fact that you were in this movie, but guess what? Your filmography is always going to put your first film pretty much is Leprechaun from 1992, 1993. So it doesn't matter. You can ghost it all you want. Your filmography will say otherwise, pretty much. But anyway, before I say hello to the chat, my co-host, as always, for these 1s and 2s is Orange Chat Reviews. Let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
Well, y'all can find me on YouTube, and you can find me on Twitter. And that's enough of the Irish brogue. So, you can find me those two places. Thursday nights, you can find me on my channel with Mara. We're going to be discussing 13th Warrior tomorrow night. Friday is going to be Orange Hat Uncensored with Janet from Another Planet, Dick's Division, and Ruben Haynes. Sunday is going to be Weekly Recap. Still haven't found any topics, so I'm going to have to come up with something. And Tuesdays are the 1s versus 2s. I recently did 300 and versus 300 Rise, and yesterday I did The Shining versus Doctor Sleep, and kind of screwed it up because I kind of the edit or the judge or comparison evolved during that stream, which I have those kind of streams, folks. Sometimes my way of analysis will evolve in midstream, so it's like, fuck, and it will change up everything. So yeah, that happened. And other than that, I try to get content out as I can, try to do some stuff here and there. Haven't really found anything interesting, and I haven't heard any updates since the conviction of Hannah Reid. So I'm covering, or y'all know that I'm covering the Alec Baldwin stuff. No matter how low my views get on those, I'm still going to cover it because it's important. But yeah, as for Leprechaun, I do enjoy it. I mean, it's like I was telling Mara backstage, I remember scenes differently because I haven't seen this movie in so long. So it's like I'll go over a couple of the scenes that I remember differently as we get to them. But yeah, I also enjoy the movie. It's a good laugh. It's people I haven't seen on or in movies for quite some time, unless I'm watching movies from the 80s or 90s. I mean, what's his name? The kid that says, fuck you, Lucky Charms. The only other movie that I've seen him in was Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And
he looks familiar to me, but the only other actor that, at least of the adult actors that I recognized basically right off the bat was the actor who plays Ozzy.
Yeah.
From Pee-wee's Big Adventure and
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf, and a very small part in Naked Gun. It's like a very small part. It's almost like a cameo. He's the one that says it's Enrico Palazzo. Like he's the one who stands up in the stands and like points to Drebin and thinks he's like the opera singer.
They're actually they're actually getting Liam Neeson to redo the Naked Gun movies.
I mean, on one hand, Liam Neeson has like that good deadpan delivery, like serious delivery, even though it's a comedic line. But at the same time, it's like, why? Just why?
I liked him in the 18 movie, especially
it's like one of those where it's like he would be good, but at the same time, it's like just let the Naked Gun movies alone.
Yeah, definitely leave him alone.
It's like I said, like Liam, like Leslie Nielsen for like with Liam Neeson. Leslie Nielsen did serious films before he started kind of evolving in a way into those comedic type roles that he became known for with the Naked Gun films and Airplane and so forth, which is why his delivery worked. He was used to delivering lines in a serious manner, so when he's delivering these comedic lines in a serious manner, it ends up coming up funnier. Liam Neeson, I think, could pull that off. But all right, I'm gonna tell these I'm gonna mute.
Tell your siblings to fuck off.
We're in like a group text, and I'm like,
or they'll piss off the leprechaun.
Pretty much, I'm like, but yeah, like Liam Neeson could do it. He like has shown that he can, but I might just let it alone. But anyway, but we're talking Leprechaun. We're talking Leprechaun. Now, depending on which site you look up, it's either 1992 or 1993. I put 1992 because I think it must have been at the cusp of 92, 93 release of film. So no matter what site you go on, it's going to be one of those 2 years. So I just picked 1992, which is most likely when it was filmed. So basically, pretty much to sum it up, an evil leprechaun is causing mayhem. Like he stows away in this man's luggage, this man who stole the leprechaun's gold. And then subsequently the leprechaun is trapped, and then 10 years later is released. And how he's released is kind of interesting because it kind of goes, I don't know how accurate it is to Irish lore, but it kind of goes into a little bit on how to defeat a leprechaun. But anyway, from the top I see Trey. Actually, I love this movie. I enjoy it too. Like I said, I don't take it seriously. It knows what it is.
It's not meant to be taken seriously.
Yeah, it knows what it is. Basically, it doesn't try to be like a serious horror film. It's like the movie saying, "I'm literally a film about a psychotic leprechaun going after his gold. I can't be serious at this point." So and Warwick Davis pretty much, he's a bit of a ham in the role, but it works given the nature of like the character. So like his like little laugh and how he delivers his lines, I think works.
January 8th, 1993.
Okay, so it was basically it's whenever films are released at like the end of the previous year and at like the beginning of the next year, you depending on what site you like. I looked up on Wikipedia and said 1992. IMDb said 1992. Other sites said 1993. So it's like it was close.
Yeah, it's January 8th, 1993. Yeah.
So
it was made in 92.
Yeah.
And released in 93.
I just put 1992 because I was like, you know what? One of those 2 years will be correct. So, and thank you for being a member for 13th month, Shaluk. So thank you, Dario. But yeah, I try. I basically I credit it with the films my parents showed me growing up, and then it kind of like progressed into like the films that I found later on, and it just evolved into these. This is my taste in films, and yes, it's also before Jennifer Aniston's infamous rhinoplasty, where this is her original nose. This is her original nose. So, and
her same bad acting.
I'm fine with her character. Like it's like in this movie.
She's a hormonally suppressed teenager that just wanted to, or that didn't like the fact that they left LA.
Yeah, because originally they wanted the director to hire like a Valley Girl type actress, and he's the one who actually, I believe, fought for Jennifer Aniston to get the role. by promising the studio that he would like bleach Jennifer Aniston's hair, which never happens. So basically, like the studio relented, and then just like this director was like, "All right, I got what I want. I'm not giving the studio what they're asking for." So actually, I'll most likely be on like Twitch Friday because I'm like saving Twitch for like multiplayer games, but I'll be most likely on Kicks Saturday. So
yeah, a person that I'm no longer following, not going to mention names, freaking bitched at me because I don't watch their Twitch streams. It's like I haven't been on Twitch since they fucking started that porn shit. I got off to make a point. So, sorry, but I don't watch even any of my friends on Twitch.
Oh, I know that. So I'm like, I'm just amazed.
They
flipped. I'm only on there like once, maybe twice a week.
Yeah, they flipped on me. It's like, what the fuck, man? Didn't you pay attention to the shit that I put on fucking Twitter? I mean, it's like, dude, I literally told Twitch that I don't appreciate the direction they're going. I will not be returning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you do kick, I'll be more than happy to follow you.
The Leprechaun is her luck. I really don't see him running anywhere. He's not her luck.
Shut up, Gigawatt.
He's not her luck.
Hey, Eagle Rider.
You're always after me, Gold. Yes. Yeah. I like this. A Friend in Weed is a Friend in Need. Oh, wrong movie. Yeah, pretty much.
Yes, I am a king of bad phrasing, Rosetta. Gone off because of porn.
Stole Assassin, good to see you. Azor, good to see you. Beat Lucky Leprechaun in the fight. I think he could, just because he would fight dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you should just embrace it. Like every actor or actress starts somewhere. Hell, like if I remember correctly, Matthew McConaughey was in one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, and look where he is now. Everyone starts somewhere.
Get this, folks. Warwick Davis. I think this was like his third movie or fourth movie.
It was like one of his earlier films, and he was actually still under contract with George Lucas. So if you watch the movie and you see a thank you to George Lucas, they had to do that because George Lucas allowed the studio to use Warwick Davis.
Because he was also doing, I believe at the time, or no, he wasn't, or Willow was 80s. This was 90s. But yeah, he was getting ready to do other shit, especially with the freaking prequels coming up 6 years later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Leprechaun versus Chucky. Yeah. This is my
Warwick Davis was like 8 years old when he started acting, or 11 years old when he started acting.
This is my Discord. And per Trey's request, like an actual genuine request, not a joke, which I called his bluff on like last time, but he requested Batman and Robin. So I'm going to try to do a watch party of Batman and Robin Saturday evening, which will most likely turn into a post.
My prayers for you, woman.
I you know what? I would watch Batman and Robin over the Batman movie. I'm going to kill my siblings. I swear to fucking God.
You know, I look at the back of your chair, and it looks like Darth Vader got high on mushrooms and is just this big old fucking grin.
Yep.
I mean, I might be high myself. I don't know. I haven't had anything, so.
So maybe caffeine. I'm gonna try no later than 7 p.m. Saturday. But normally I do it like every other weekend, thereabouts. And I'm trying to incorporate both a mix. So basically good films called classics, classic films, bad films. So I agree with this a little bit. Yeah. Michael's Asylum, good to see you. Hello, Rosetta. Been a while since I caught you. So, yeah. I see you, Rosetta. Hope you're doing well. And hope you enjoy this discussion. Talking Leprechaun from 1992, 1993 time frame. Yeah, Kevin Bacon finally embraced Friday the 13th. Like I said, everyone starts somewhere in Hollywood. Everyone starts somewhere. But anyway, all right. Hey, Terra Crystal. It's an interesting film. It's a horror comedy. It basically, Since like you're just tuning in, basically, Leprechaun started out originally going to be basically a straight horror film, but then the studio wanted them to tone down on the gore because they wanted, when I say children, I mean like like young teenagers basically to be able to see this film. So basically, they told them to tone down the gore, kind of like increase the comedic elements a little bit, but then they increased the comedic elements a little too much, and the studio had to step in again and go, yeah, add more gore in because we don't want to alienate adult audience members. So it basically became the mix of horror comedy that we get in the final version of the film. And I'm happy. I like it as a horror comedy.
Mm-hmm. It works.
All right. But it starts out where you don't see O'Grady catch the leprechaun. You just see him, like the leprechaun at the beginning of the movie, basically looking at his gold. I like the rainbow effect here.
Yeah.
Which is used again later on in the film to kind of show two of the characters where O'Grady hides the coins. But after this scene, basically it jumps straight into. Oh, by the way, this is Trimark Pictures' first film. So, Trimark Pictures is the owner of the first 5 Leprechaun movies, and then it switched studios with the 6th one, I believe. But for the first several, Trimark owns them, and this is their first film.
I believe, or when I was watching it, I actually got the Lionsgate stuff in front of it.
So I think when it's I'd have to look at the.
They must have been bought out.
That's why the studio's changed pretty much,
Yeah.
because this is Trimark Pictures, just their film alone. But then when they were bought out, then other studios kind of stepped in.
Mm-hmm.
So I like how Warwick Davis gets first billing. So I'm just gonna try. All right, so basically starts out with this couple. So and this is the only really scenes you see them in. And the actor's name is Shay Duffin. He plays O'Grady, and then Pamela Mant plays his wife. And he's returned home from Ireland, ostensibly to bury his mother, pretty much, because he sends a package on ahead of him, and his wife is thinking that he shipped his mother's ashes back to the States. After I use YouTube, yeah. Because she's wondering.
Fair use.
She's wondering where he's gotten all this money, and that's when we find this. That's when we find out as the audience that he actually caught a leprechaun. And per the tradition, the lore when it comes to leprechauns, if you catch a leprechaun, and you tell them to show me where they keep their gold, they have to.
Yep.
Show you where the gold is kept, and that's what happens. He gets the leprechaun's gold, and he's ready basically to say goodbye to this place.
Yeah.
And I want to go on the shot that I love when you don't see. Hold on. I want to see if I can show because you hear a voice coming from the suitcase. And I want to get this shot where it opens. Okay, you can't quite see the eyes.
Yeah.
You see glowing red eyes.
Yeah.
It opens. Which
and
is
it's you don't see them again after.
No, but it's I like how they it's. I kind of like how they did that, because when I said the studios kind of stepped in and they wanted more of a. Because originally it was going to be straight horror, kind of a la Friday the 13th, thereabouts, things like that. And then at least early Friday the 13th movies. But then the studio exec wanted more of a Critters, Gremlins feel. And so when you see the red eyes, it very much reminds me of the Critters feel. when like she opens the suitcase. And I remember when I watched this for the first time, I was like, she's hearing what sounds like a child's voice coming from the suitcase. I know the inclination is going to be to open up the suitcase because you think a child's in there. But at the same time, I'd be like,
why would a child be coming out of a suitcase?
yeah, why would a child be coming out of a suitcase? I doubt very seriously that her husband like brought a child over in his suitcase.
And that size?
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, there's something's off. Something's off. Yeah, original Child's Play. Yes, so it was very much. So like I said, I wish I could get a shot of the eyes. That's what I liked when I like first saw this. And you can't quite see them, but they're right there.
Yeah.
They always got to investigate. They always got to investigate. It's kind of like the story I tell when I was in France, when I was in college, and we went to like France for the month as part of like the interim course you could do. And I can't remember what place we were visiting, but part of the tour talked about how like there were accounts of the like a spirit or an entity kind of haunting a certain area of this place, and we had to pair up. And I have to say that I have to say this to put like so you all like have the perspective of where I'm coming from when I say this. So when I say like my friend was a black girl, I'm just saying that because of what she said to me, so it makes sense, right? So I'm like, let's go down there and see. I'm like ready to go down and see, like, if I can catch anything like the spirit or this entity. And she looked at me like wide eyes, straight, like, basically like just staring at me and like, what is it with you white people? Like, she's like just flat out said that. So whenever I see these movies, and inevitably it is a white person who's opening the suitcase, opening the crate, hearing a noise, and walking off by himself or herself, I'm like, "Yep, that's our ethnicity." Yes, we white people tend to do that.
We dumb as fuck sometimes.
Yeah, so it's like when we should be running, we're going towards the noise.
Usually, the black person's actually the smartest in a horror movie. Unfortunately, it's because they're smart that they end up getting killed.
Yeah. So here's noise. Let's go. Yes.
Yeah, because you can't have smart people in horror movies.
No, or if a white character's by himself or herself and they hear a noise, instead of just staying quiet and listening for the noise, they go, "Who's there?" Just let the killer know where to find them.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, so like this scene. So poor Mrs. O'Grady, she's killed because she falls down the stairs. So I'd like, I'm pretty sure that the leprechaun would have killed her anyway. But in this case, it kind of was an accident because she kind of fell backwards down the stairs after she releases him. Yeah. So. And Mr. O'Grady wants to show, how he traps the leprechaun. So apparently, according to this movie, a leprechaun's powers are weakened enough that you can kill him by using a 4-leaf clover, or trap him with a 4-leaf clover.
What is it with these green fuckers and green or kryptonite being green and freaking 4-leaf clovers being green? I mean, he doesn't fly. He's not Kryptonian. He's just a fucking little Irish midget. And I could say that I'm Irish.
So, and I've never, I guess, heard this as part of Irish lore when it comes to leprechauns. I know, like 4-leaf clover is a symbol of luck.
Oh, that is very much. That's top mark of.
I've never
Irish
heard it as a means to trap or weaken a leprechaun.
The thing is, you're supposed to keep, or you're not supposed to pick it, because the second you pick it is the second it or the luck turns to bad luck. So if you find a 4-leaf clover in a clover field, leave the clover there Just touch it, move on. You'll have a little bit of luck on your side. Now, funny thing about leprechauns, a little bit of Irish lore for you folks. What does leprechaun sort of sound like disease-wise?
Leprosy.
Yeah. They're ugly little fuckers in the real lore.
Oh yeah,
As they are in this one.
Yeah.
Because he has leprosy.
That's accurate. That's, in terms of looks, that's accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, he traps, and he's like the leprechaun. So in this crate, sets the 4-leaf clover onto it. After O'Grady's able to injure the leprechaun, and apparently, doing that, the leprechaun's unable to escape the crate, and O'Grady's intending to burn his house down, but suffers in the movie. When you look at this the story synopsis, it says heart attack, but in the movie they say stroke. So, but regardless, he was unable to set fire to his own house. So basically, the leprechaun is there for 10 years. Yeah,
cursed him before it lost all of its power. It's like, you try to kill me, I'm going to curse you. And then it says, you're going to have a stroke, bitch. And he strokes out. In the worst way.
Yeah. And because he, doesn't die, obviously, that the basically property just sits there for 10 years until 10 years later, as we see in the movie, he goes by JD, basically. Jennifer, the actor who plays Jennifer Aniston's father. And Jennifer Aniston is this valley girl without looking like a valley girl, because as soon as you see her character in this movie, she's complaining. The ride over, she's complaining. She's depressed. She's I don't know how old this character is supposed to be, in her early 20s, whatever. She's and
she's like 18, 19,
and she somehow has her own money to get a hotel room.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
I forgot a lot of which characters were which. I always thought the boy was actually her little brother. I forgot that they were completely unrelated.
Oh yeah, he's part of the 3 men group, essentially. When I say that, I mean the painters, pretty much, because it's a kind of a really small business of sorts where Nathan, Ozzy, and basically Alex helps out pretty much.
Did you hear him spout out the insurance stuff? He's definitely the adult of the group.
Yeah. Oh, our liability insurance prohibits anyone but us from touching our equipment. He's telling this to her dad, because he's asking if they need help. It's our liability insurance prevents anyone from touching our equipment but us. So he's just spouting off this insurance stuff. So and but anyway, and she quickly changes her tune when she sees basically how cute Nathan is. Because her meeting up with Nathan pretty much is she runs into him and he's carrying paint thinner. And her initial reaction is to give him $20 to pay for more thinner. And he's are you serious? And she pulls out another 20 to give him 40. And he's pretty much all I want is an apology. I'm sorry, which I was watching the movie and I'm and she never gives him. She never gives him. She ends up sticking around because he kind of goads her. Yeah. Well, he's cute and he goads her because he's well, guys aren't scared of houses. Because she was running out because she got scared by a spider. I personally do not blame her. That spider was fucking huge.
Yeah, it's tarantula.
Yeah. So I'm she's kind of running from the house, and yeah, she doesn't have anything for him pretty much. But she initially stays because she wants to prove him wrong, which I love because he knows how to poke the bear. Essentially, I like his character. He knows how to poke the bear to get her to change, basically change her mind about what she's doing. And he also calls her out on her bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
he calls her out on her bullshit, which I kind of appreciate because they were in this diner later on in the movie, and he's eating meatloaf, and she kind of gives him not really a lecture, but she tells him that she doesn't eat meat, right? She doesn't, kill and eat living things, right? She doesn't kill living things.
Oh, I love what he does there.
Yeah, and so he goes like, and he kind of reaches down, grabs her foot, and pulls her sneaker off, and goes, "Dead cow."
Yeah, I don't eat living things. Then you shouldn't eat, honey, because everything you eat was living at one point, including your salads, your chocolates, and all that stuff. It comes from fucking nature. You're a murderer no matter what you believe. You really want to go there?
Yeah. Like I said, she doesn't really lecture him, but like I say, I like how he calls her out. This film makes fun of vegans. It kind of does, because he calls her out on her bullshit. he calls her he calls her out. Like, you are literally wearing a dead living thing on your feet.
Yeah. Where do you think your clothes comes from? Silk? Yeah. Oh, where'd you think that silk came from?
I'm gonna see a shot of. Okay, this is Nathan. This is the guy we're talking about. He just plays a little bit, so.
Then you offered me $20. 40. Is that enough to cover it? No. An apology might, though.
Yeah. Yeah, an apology. He's not afraid to give it back to her. So.
And by the way, folks, back then, paint thinner was expensive.
Yeah. And so these are the two other characters we were talking about that's part of their 3-man crew. You have Ozzy, the adults, and Alex, the boy. Ozzy is played by Mark Holton, and like I said, I know him primarily from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and also the small role in Naked Gun, as well as Teen Wolf. But I had to go back and rewatch Teen Wolf because I don't remember that movie quite as well. But Ozzy is the basically Nathan is the good-looking one of the group. Alex is obviously the kid, and Ozzy is the intellectually disabled one of the group. He's the one who
you could almost.
It is very childlike innocence almost in his beliefs when it comes to certain things, because they kind of make fun of him a little bit, a little bit. When I say make fun of him, I mean humor him essentially. Like, the people in the town humor him. You even get that impression at the sheriff's office pretty much, because they're kind of joking. Oh, what's it today? Pretty much why is Ozzy calling today? Like last week it was Bigfoot sort of situation. So he very much believes in UFOs, and he's the one who he's the first one who sees the Leprechaun, and because I guess of his disability, he played Gacy. Okay, that's interesting. People don't believe him.
Yeah, I mean, one of the scenes where he actually slips off the 4-leaf clover.
Mm-hmm.
I was speaking of Mandela effect earlier, where I remember where he's leaning down and his hand, or he doesn't go like this. He actually sees the 4-leaf clover and it's all gray and wrinkly the way I remembered it originally, where he just kind of just flicks it off, just a little bit of a flick with his hand like this.
Like that.
Yeah. Instead, it happens like that, and it's like, Jesus, I'm remembering this movie differently. What the hell is wrong with me?
And that is the clover that was keeping the leprechaun at bay. So, what pops out? It's an ugly little spud. See if I can get a good shot of. So, just to give you a perspective of how ugly he is. And and Vermeer basically is this movie really only spans a day once the leprechaun escapes. It really only spans a day.
Yep.
And I think I skipped a part pretty much because Alex, because there's a rainbow that that happens, and Alex and Ozzy find
Yeah, they heard, or yeah, they come out of there, or was it?
No, it's right here. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
later,
after. Yeah, because I was about to say the leprechaun already comes out. It's after he comes out.
So he's looking
That
for his gold. Yeah.
yeah.
They can be an eternity. Yeah, I was saying like hey gravy. And he's like, so, and it's the gold that O'Grady had and had hidden before he had his stroke. According to the movie, it says stroke. And but we don't know where it is until later, a little bit later on in the movie. And like I said, it's kind of like use of a rainbow again, where you see the rainbow at the beginning, kind of shining down on the leprechaun and his gold. And this one here kind of like guides them to where O'Grady's hidden.
Yeah. Yeah, that rainbow just fucking comes out of nowhere, just yoink. And I'm like, right. Somebody call Lucky. He's drunk and he put the transgender rainbow out there.
So like I said, it's like I love it's a horror horror comedy. It doesn't take itself seriously. Like a rainbow shows up, and it like basically per legend is like the end of the rainbow is where you'll find the gold, and it happens to fall on this truck.
Where's me gold?
Would you have to wonder where this like.
That kid is so fucking greedy. It's like, give me. It's like, dude, it's not the one ring. Chill. I mean, then he's like, oh, here, you can have your stupid little coin. I got this bag of it.
Yeah. I mean, like, he's like the typical 80s kid characters.
Damn straight.
So, but not as annoying as some, pretty much. But it's like a typical 80s kid character. So he's like, oh, like, and Ozzy ends up swallowing one of the gold coins. Somehow.
I love that. Yeah, he's chilling. Then they cut to the kid, and then it's like, oh, it's like it just swallowed it. It's like, you think?
Yeah, like here, I'll play like I know how to tell it. I know how to tell if it's real. Like, you bite it. You bite on it. I've seen it in a movie. And like focus on the kid. And then back, and he somehow swallowed this coin.
Like, really, man?
I think it's a nice going Jaws. I like the reference to Jaws.
Right?
I like this question. Can you die from swallowing gold? Like, yeah, after I kill you.
Believe it or not, you could. There is such a thing called gold poisoning.
I know, like you could like probably one coin. He's most likely just pass it through his system.
Yeah,
but because it would take like quite a bit of gold poisoning, like in this case to kill you, like he would have had to basically swallow just about the whole bag to get that metal poisoning. One, he would just basically it would pass.
Yeah, but I've been watching House a lot. House MD, that show with Hugh Laurie. And it's like, holy crap, dude. This fucking woman was poisoning her husband with gold.
It can be done. Like, I mean,
yeah.
Goldfinger, I mean, that's how he killed certain characters. Like basically just painted them with like actual gold, so they died from gold poisoning.
Trust the Midas touch. In the most heinous way. I mean, everybody says, oh, I'd love to have these powers where you could touch something and turn it to gold. And then you actually pay attention to the story where it wasn't that good of a story, folks. He couldn't eat. He couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
He ended up dying from insanity and starvation.
So I'm skipping, like, we're not really covering, like, the whole movie, pretty much. We're covering, like, certain parts, pretty much. I'm trying to think, where...
You want to know why I think she doesn't like the movie? It's because... Oh, yeah. meow meow, and then bites the dude.
Bites the father. So basically, the father's essentially out of commission. For like basically the rest of the film. You don't see the father for the rest of the film. But like I said, it kind of takes place like the entirety of it like in a day, like overnight pretty much. So like it makes sense because Nathan says, they're holding your they have your dad overnight for observation, which makes sense. So this is like the last time you see the dad. He's rushing into the hospital. And I love how when they leave.
Yeah. he finds a little fucking tricycle.
And he even has like a little car that he's driving. And I'm like, okay, when the deputy pulls him over later on in the film, I have to wonder, like, it didn't look like the car was going that fast.
About 25 miles.
Yeah. And I'm like, at that point, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to let this one go.
Yeah, it's like, I am way too fucking high to even touch that right now.
Yeah, like a leprechaun-looking dude driving a tiny car. They don't pay me enough for this shit. Yeah, deputy was dumb, thought I was a kid. Yeah. Oh, like, at one point, Leprechaun also has, like, magical skates.
It's not wise to make fun of a leprechaun.
Oh, like, this kill here is probably the most brutal. Like, you don't really see, but how he is killed is probably the most brutal in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's literally killed by, like, a pogo stick. Like, impaled as the leprechaun is jumping.
Crushes his ribs, pierces his spleen.
Yeah.
Basically, sharp force trauma by constant blunt force trauma.
Yeah. And it's all because, like, this poor schmuck is holding a coin that he's going to examine for Ozzy and Alex. That's it. Like, just one coin. I know he almost the deputy's face, because he doesn't go after the sheriff. The sheriff is, like, at the station. But he actually, like, that would be, like, the next brutal kill, literally, because of how, like, what he does to the deputy's face, and then the fact that he snaps the deputy's neck later on in the movie. And I'm saying, like, again, Warwick Davis was definitely having a blast making this movie. He definitely was having a blast. Like I said, like, he's hamming it up. He's hamming it up in this role, but it works. Yeah, he was just doing his job. Yeah, so it's not like he was, like, trying to steal the gold, pretty much. He just had a coin that he was going to examine, because he was like, it's basically, he's looking at the coin, and he's like, well, basically, financial value, if I were to estimate, it'd be like $500, which would be a tidy sum. Even back in the early 90s, $500 per coin, times, it was 100 coins. Because we find that out later on in the movie, because the leprechaun starts counting the coins to make sure they're all there. And he gets to 99, and one is missing. So basically 500 times 100. Okay? That's just basically 50,000. Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna see. So let's just say it's like 50,000. Like the guy's right. Inflation calculator. We'll say this is 1993. I want to see what, like, 50,000 would be.
Well, it's the beginning of the fiscal year.
Calculates 53. It is 50,000. It would be $107,379.24.
Say that again.
So if let's say basically if each gold coin was worth $500 and he had 100, that's about $50,000 worth. And I put 1993 to 2024, like, at the inflation calculator. So 50,000 in 1993 to now would be equivalent of $107,379.24.
Not bad.
So, like I said, like even back then would have been a tidy sum to find. To make a life a lot easier. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you didn't have a homicidal, psychotic leprechaun after you, it would make life a lot fucking easier. But
Dang,
leprechauns
sure.
stowed away in the luggage because you don't steal leprechaun's gold, especially not one that's like that.
Yeah.
And stowed away, and now he's making life a living hell. So this poor man just doing his job, but the leprechaun gets his coin back. So this actor is he's only listed as shop owner, basically John Volstad. That's all he's listed as, a shop owner. He doesn't really have a name. But it's like this is the only scene he's really in after he sees Ozzy and Alex, and then he basically so. And then the next victim, as we were talking about, is this deputy. I'm like, if I were the deputy, I would be like, I do not get paid enough to deal with this tonight.
Yeah.
A tiny car driven by what looks like a demented leprechaun. And he thought it was a kid. I'm like, I don't care. Like, have you? I want to look at the deputy. I'm like, have you seen costumes from like the 80s to early 90s? They weren't that elaborate.
No, they really weren't.
Have.
I mean, a kid with that level of makeup, prosthetic makeup, it's like, dude, did you break out of Hollywood or something?
Yeah. I'm like, this is the face. I'd be like, you know what? Watch your speed. And I just like walk off, and like, the deputy's like, okay, smart ass.
It's not wise to insult a leprechaun.
Yes.
Grabs the gun, tosses it away. It's like, he could have had a lot of fun with that, but he chose the more brutal way. And that's why I like him. He didn't need it.
Nope, he didn't. So I'm like, as I said, like I like this movie because I like how it does not take itself seriously. It does not take itself seriously. Yes, there are the stupid people in the horror movie trope, pretty much, because you can't have a horror movie, especially back in the 80s and to 90s, without stupid people in the movie. So hence the deputy pretty much being stupid in this case. However, Warwick Davis's performance, I feel like he basically like makes up for it because he hams it up. He hams it up. So I'm going to show him like what the leprechaun does. Boom. It's not Brad Dourif, but it's good. Yeah. And it pretty much crushes the deputy's face. It's just with one hand.
Yeah.
Top the gun. And then basically that's when we have the chase through the woods. Which is actually kind of creepy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this has the creepy chase, definitely.
Yeah. Part 3 introduced leprechaun bites as the way that you transform into leprechaun. I'm pretty sure that's not in the original fable. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not in the original fables. I think they are their own little species of people. You don't really transform into a leprechaun.
No.
And I like how he finds leprechaun's hats. And almost like comes across as like Looney Tunes kind of a scenario. So it's like very like a cat and mouse in the woods. And then here's where the deputy meets his end.
Yeah.
So
I almost thought they were going to rip the head completely off, but nah.
No, this is a thing like one instance where they kind of there's enough gore that like, you know what, we don't have to go all the way necessarily with the gore. Because and while he's bloodied, like I said, I still say the shop owner died a more brutal death than the deputy. And he thinks he's safe, thinks he's gotten away, and then boom. I want to play this fair use YouTube, fair use, no sounds, but I like how Warwick Davis kind of like plays, like moves ahead, kind of like morbidly, psychotically playful manner.
Yeah.
He is the last kill. He is the last, like, excluding himself. He, like, this is the last kill. This is only really like 3 kills in the, well, no, 4 if you count O'Grady.
But did he die?
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, 4 technically if you count him, although we don't exactly
Not on
see him
screen.
die.
Yeah,
We don't exactly see him die necessarily. But Mrs. O'Grady, the shop owner, and the deputy. That's it. That's it in this entire film. That's it. Only 3 deaths.
Yep.
Only 3 deaths. And even then, the leprechaun doesn't really die because you hear his voice at the end of the movie because he's cursing the well that his body's trapped in. So
I'll be back. Essentially.
I like how he's kind of like just. Now that was fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and this is the anti-vegan this is the anti-vegan moment. I loved it because I actually did that whole thing what I said earlier. There was a person who was doing the whole vegan thing and trying to explain it. It's like, you do realize that everything you eat comes from nature and was once living, right? And they're like, yeah, but plants are not as sentient as animals. It's like, how do you know? They did not want to talk to me.
Documentation of like some plants will actually recoil, like they will actually kind of feel what their own version of pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are some plants that are actually sentient,
semi-sentient. Yeah, to the point.
And not every animal is necessarily sentient either.
No.
So
they all have a level of intelligence to a degree.
Yeah. But there are like those that are kind of like of the animals kingdom more sentient than others. So like like one of my favorite, like I think I would say elephants are my favorite animals actually, and they are actually documented as being able to recognize themselves in a mirror. That's how sentient they are.
Somebody put a mirror out in the middle of a jungle where there was a bunch of apes and other animals and shit. It was so fucking hilarious because a freaking silverback got set off. It's like it just started attacking the mirror. Freaking baboons walking by, sees his reaction and jumps like he freaking. And folks, this is no joke. This is not a joke. Somebody actually did this. Animals reacting to themselves in the middle of a jungle with a mirror in the hood. Meaning they used a bunch of black people's voices over the animals. And I'm like, oh my God, is it racist to laugh at this? It's like, oh my God, man.
I want this guy to make this a series, and we'll get back to the movie, but I've seen videos on Instagram of someone doing a Gollum impression nature documentary. Pretty much.
Oh,
yes. And I want that to be like actually real.
Right?
Welcome to Gollum's playlist where we talk about animals and stuff.
I want that to be real.
You have to pay the person a lot of money just to freaking drink like 1 million bottles of this during the whole damn thing because that wreaks havoc on your throat.
It does.
You catch throat cancer.
But like this is the conversation we had. Like, no, do you know what that is? He's like, yeah, meatloaf. That's cut up dead cow.
And it's fucking delicious.
And that's if you're lucky in this place. I don't eat meat and I don't kill living things. All right? She says that. I don't eat meat and I don't kill living things. And I love what he does. Like, for those who are just tuning in late. I feel very strongly about that. And he's like, you feel very strongly, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, do you?
Really?
Oh, yeah, really. All right.
All right. Oh, and he pulls her shoe off. Cut up dead cow. That's what your shoe is.
Dead cow skin. What are you doing with it? Cut up dead cow. What do you think? Or that's what shoe is.
Yeah, and that's what leather is. I mean, like, leather certain leather handbags comes from, like, say, alligators, crocodiles, like that whole spiel. Like, you are, like, like what, your purse, your shoes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what do Do you honestly think you can argue with these Hollywood types? They're just fucking nuts.
Like this is Jennifer Aniston's old nose. Well, this is part of the reason why I think that she ghosts this film is because she has that level of narcissism where she doesn't like looking at her old self. Hey, Buck Norris. So,
how are you able to improve upon yourself if you cannot objectively criticize yourself?
So I said it's a level of narcissism. That's part of the reason why.
Exactly. She is a narcissist. Oh, she is beyond narcissism at this point in her life.
At least that's Warwick Davis's impression of one of the reasons why she doesn't acknowledge this film as part of her filmography. And it's prior
That's
to
why she blocked Warwick's number.
Yeah. So how George Clooney doesn't even ignore Batman and Robin. So it's everyone starts somewhere, and everyone in Hollywood, and I'm talking about even the ones you consider A-list celebrities now, not only started somewhere, but they have bombs on their filmography. So not everyone was in an Oscar-worthy film.
Speaking of spiders and shit in this movie, the fucking spider just came down in front of me and I didn't even notice it. It's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, Paul Rudd's first movie was Halloween 6. I mean, I in chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I could swear that Matthew McConaughey, one of his first films, if not his first film, or one of his first films, was one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. I think I want to say 3.
Kevin Bacon was in Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Friday the 13th.
Johnny Depp was in Nightmare on Elm Street, introducing Johnny Depp.
Yeah, that was his first film.
Yeah.
That's your 4. Okay, so I was close. I knew it was I knew it was after the second one. So, I mean, do you blame him, Dario? But
George Clooney, or did somebody say that George Clooney ignores Batman and Robin?
No, he said he doesn't even ignore.
He doesn't. Okay, because I was about to say if he does.
So.
Yeah, if he does ignore Batman and Robin, then why the fuck would he come back for the Flash?
No, I'm saying he doesn't. He acknowledges it.
I know.
Yeah, he goes I was in that crap fest. So which is kind of kudos to him in a way because he
only one good shot in that entire movie, and that's when they had the light over his eyes when he was telling, and you would have splattered your brains all over the side of the building. It was basically a callback to Michael Keaton's eyes.
I like watching Batman and Robin, not because it's objectively good, because I can roast it like MST3K.
Yeah.
So.
No, Clooney pretends he was never in sitcoms. Yeah, it's like, dude, we loved you in ER. What the hell's ER?
I'm rewatching Murder, She Wrote episodes, and he was in a Murder, She Wrote episode. He was also in a Golden Girls episode.
Yep.
So
they swooned over his
ass. TV first before he broke out as an A-list actor, essentially.
Mark Hamill was in General Hospital, I do believe, before he went to that galaxy far, far away and then became a psychopathic voice actor. And then, well, we all know.
And like I said, again, everyone starts somewhere.
He was in freaking Roseanne for a while. Yeah, Clooney, yeah. I mean, Clooney is a great actor. I love him. One of my favorite movies with George Clooney in it is From Dusk Till Dawn. I mean, it's like George Clooney plays George Clooney. George Clooney plays a freaking psychotic George Clooney in that movie, man.
Not as psychotic as Quentin Tarantino's character, but psychotic enough.
Yeah. We probably should discuss that movie sometime this year.
Yeah. So, because they play brothers, and Quentin Tarantino's character is a level of psychotic that is kind of a little bit beyond where George Clooney's character is.
He's deviant, or he's what they call deviant in the most heinous of ways.
Or what he does is that woman that Clooney did not want to kill.
and then
see the aftermath of it.
Yeah, thinking about Juliette Lewis in that kind of way too, when she plays like a 16-year-old.
Yeah. So he's
that kind of filth, folks.
One thing we didn't quite touch on is that where some of the comedy comes from in this movie as well is
the shoe
shining.
Yeah. And how do you stop Leprechaun from trying to kill you? Throw a bunch of fucking shoes at him.
Yeah. That's how she gets away. Because at one point, Aniston's character has to get away to go find O'Grady to talk to him to find out how they can kill this leprechaun. Because they were like, O'Grady somehow stopped it, 10 years prior. So we got we had to go see him, but the leprechaun's out there. So how do we distract him? Throw a bunch of dirty shoes his way. He's gonna want to shine them all. And he does he starts here where he's shining all their shoes. And they stopped the shoe shining at 2. Yeah. So
fuck Norris. Cheech's role. Which one? He had 3 roles in that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this. It's just like he makes a mess in the entire freaking kitchen, but the entire table, pristine shoes.
Yeah.
It's like
pristine. Because he's tearing through the cabinet. He's tearing through the cabinets, and at one point you see
Lucky Charms.
Well, Lucky Charms, but they call it Lucky Clovers.
Yeah, because they had, or there was a rights issue, and they even made the leprechaun sort of look like him. And so he's like, "Dad." Like, what the fuck? And then he eats it, and he's like, "Ugh." Yeah, looks just as bad as it tastes.
All right. I am going to have to pop off just real fast to take my dog out. So let me just get to the bear trap scene.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Let's play surgeon.
Yes. We'll play surgeon. I love this. They're beating the hell out of this man. And it's like,
he's beating the hell out of him with a flashlight. Just but
Work took it like a champ, man.
Right back, chaps.
Work took that shit like a champ, but then again, because here's the thing, folks, you couldn't exactly get a stunt double for Warwick Davis at the time. Some of his stunt doubles, or if he did have a stunt double or a double, it was a kid. That's the wonderful thing about Little People. Yeah, you gotta go the kid route sometime as their doubles, because him on skates, I don't think he did the skates. I think that because if you look at this movie, you see a lot of inconsistencies with the height of the leprechaun. So yeah, my favorite Warwick role. Well, my favorite Warwick role was, or is, and always will be Willow from the movie, not the show. I saw the first 2 episodes of Willow, the show, and it's like, fuck this. You basically you Jake Skywalkered Willow. Never again, man. And he's actually complaining that Disney Plus canceled the show and also kicked it off of their freaking platform. It's like, no offense, my guy, but I want to remember Willow as how you portrayed him when you were 18, not when you were freaking 48. And hello to Dario Delfino. It's nice to see you. Don't think I've ever seen you on here before. Are you new? Thankfully, he skipped Willow. Yeah, dude, thank God you did. To be fair, the book screwed Willow and the characters, as well as after the first book, it should have stayed a standalone story. It really should have, yes. It's also when you do movies like Willow with, George Lucas was peak 80s, man. He peaked in the 80s. Let's see here. Oh, okay, yeah. The books were awful. I consider them an early mindset of Ruin Johnson and trying to badly subvert expectations. Well, that's why I never read the books. I liked the movie. I mean, if it wasn't for Willow, there would be no T-1000. If it wasn't for Willow, there would be no Abyss. If there was no Willow, we wouldn't have any of the movies in which a person can morph into another person. Because that's where it started. I didn't know that about the books. Isn't that interesting?
Okay.
We might need to discuss Willow sometime this year.
Okay. All right.
As one of the singles. Yeah.
I do want to say that when I was leaving, I heard you mention stunt double.
Yeah.
For Warwick Davis. It was difficult, but according to the trivia I read, there actually were some scenes where they had to bring in a stunt double for Warwick Davis.
Yeah. I was saying it's either they found a little person stunt double or they had a kid stunt double.
According to the trivia, it was little person stunt double. For the actor they brought in was Deep Roy.
Oh my god, I know Deep Roy he is in everything from freaking Legend to freaking Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that would make sense because he was a stunt performer even when he was younger.
Yep. So they brought
People don't remember Deep Roy from Legend. It's like
it was something with Warwick Davis's lungs. Like he got sick at one point, something to do with his lungs. So they had to bring in a little actor, and it was Deep Roy to do some scenes. And I think at one point, Deep Roy was the one in the Leprechaun makeup where he's attacking the truck. And he punches the windshield. Roy actually injured his wrist doing that. So he actually did that punch, like into like through it because he actually did like stunts.
Yeah.
And he injured his wrist doing that.
Thing is, folks, little people, they tend to be slightly more brittle than we are.
Mm-hmm. And Tony Cox, typically is another one of Warwick Davis's stunt doubles, and I believe Tony Cox was also one of the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi as well. And we'll see Tony Cox in the second Leprechaun film. So basically, he's like normally a stunt double for. Actually, he was in Willow as well. So basically, Warwick Davis and Tony Cox were.
Which one was he in Willow?
He's the one with like the.
Was he Burkle cut? No.
No, he was one with like he's like kind of dark hair, beard, mustache.
Vonkar. He was Vonkar, the warrior. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's Tony Cox. And so like even though he's normally Warwick Davis's, I say that's right. Even though like he's Warwick Davis's stunt double, but like he does like other roles where he's teamed up with Warwick Davis, and like Leprechaun 2 is one of them. Return of the Jedi is like another one, and then Willow. So
I just had a bad feeling. I need to look up something.
No worries, Vanya.
Hey, Vanya, set or if you guys don't have daylight savings time, just think of it as we are an hour earlier than what we usually are. Except that not over here.
It's just weird. Anyway. And we briefly see the sheriff and the dispatcher at the station. Like I said, basically, it's like we really only see them to get the impression that Ozzy not frequently, but like typically calls them saying like he sighted Bigfoot or he's like UFOs, things like that. So when Ozzy calls and says that a leprechaun's attacking them, they brush it off because it's Ozzy.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, Friday, Bad Santa. Yeah, well, so. But anyway, so, and this actor here, the only other movie I've seen him in was the miniseries The Stand from the mid to late
Silver Bullet.
90s. No, I'm saying like other like Silver Bullet, yeah, but like I'm saying like recently
Oh,
that
yeah.
I've seen him in was the Stand miniseries, and that was like what, mid 90s? I want to say 94 roughly. Miniseries starring Gary Sinise, Molly Ringwald, Rob Lowe's in it. Mazda is inhuman, so it still would be an insult to leprechauns. Like, guys, I don't like it's like mid 90s. I don't remember him in anything really post that. Because Silver Bullet was in the 80s. This was early 90s. This was before The Stand, and I just don't recall seeing him in anything post The Stand. But anyway, but briefly we see him as a sheriff and the dispatcher, and they're like brushing off Ozzy's call because Ozzy's saying a leprechaun's attacking them, which is I love the girl when she's like Ozzy, and she's like patting his shoulders, like, you didn't tell them
About the leprechaun, did you?
Yeah, like,
Well, of course I did.
like it's the truth. And I'm like you can't be mad at him because yeah, it is the truth.
Yeah, he's slow, dude.
He's slow.
He's slow up there. Now, some people might actually call him autistic. No, it's actually he's just slow.
Yeah.
Just because a person has a level of mental retardation to them does not mean that they are automatically autistic.
Okay, this is the scene I'm talking about this is where Deep Roy.
Yeah, right there.
Himself.
Yep.
So when the windshield gets punched, boom, he injured his wrist.
Yeah. I mean, Deep Roy has the best voice, man.
Yeah. So that's Deep Roy there. That's not Warwick Davis. So he had, like I said, he had to step in for some scenes because Warwick Davis was sick.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those so I think he's slightly taller than Warwick Davis, but not by much. So there is a slight height difference. You'll see if you're paying attention in the movie. You can notice the scenes where the leprechaun appears a bit taller than in other scenes, and that's because like those scenes.
Deep Roy is also Elijah Wood's scale double in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a genius compared to Mazda. Yeah. So.
And he has the cutest little voice because he kind of talks like this.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just so fucking awesome. Deep Roy is just so fucking fun.
Yeah, 17% taller. So I'm saying just slightly.
Yeah.
So he is slightly taller.
You notice a difference in the scale of the leprechaun in this movie. Slightly, you can tell, but it's there. I mean, when he's on the skates, that's not work. Also, them having to speed up the camera to make him go faster. That's because, well, he's mystical, yes, but it's also because it's hard to get them going.
Yeah. Later, Eagle Rider. Yeah, so basically...
Take it easy, Rosetta. Good to see you.
So like I said, I want to... So basically, skipping over some parts.
Mark. Yeah. Mark Holton's still alive. Huh. Robert High Gorman, yeah. But yeah, Warwick Davis, man. God bless him. He started I do believe that he did start a little person's acting guild.
Mm-hmm.
Which also got a lot of people jobs in movies like they sucked, but he got them jobs in like the Disney trilogy of Star Wars because there was a lot of little people needed for some of those movies.
Yeah.
And he also got them for Harry Potter and the Wizarding World for the goblins and whatnot. I mean, Warwick Davis has literally been a champion of little people for quite some time.
Grinch movie. Yeah. Like he's been in a lot.
Yeah.
So this is like what you're talking about with the skates, and like I said, again,
Yeah.
the not taking the movie the movie itself, like not taking itself seriously, like this part here.
Yeah. It's like, oh shit.
That's,
We have the what's it called? The Bugs Bunny moment or
Yeah.
the Roger Rabbit moment.
yeah.
He did.
And then-
He did, Trey. He really did. He made it work.
Hey, Greg. And then like you said, they had to speed it up a little bit because it's kind of hard to get like going when you're on skates.
I did see that Soul Assassin. I might actually do a video on that tomorrow. I mean, Nick Cage ain't playing anymore, man.
Yeah. I love how like she's able to like sneak in. Like the guard is literally asleep.
Yeah. It's like, dude, seriously, pay attention to shit. But then there's I love the freaking wheelchair chase in this. Now, another Mandela effect here, folks, comes from this scene where he's mimicking Grady's voice.
Yeah.
As he's imitating Grady or O'Grady.
Yeah, right here.
In this bit here. The way I remember watching it from the first time that I seen it, I remember him saying, "I'll never tell" in O'Grady's voice. However, that's not the case in the reality. I mean, I remember so many different parts of this movie differently from when I watched it recently.
Yeah, this part I didn't quite remember because it's been a while since I've seen the film.
Yeah.
But the Leprechaun we find out it's the Leprechaun. But
yeah.
But he's also kind of like.
Yep. Shay Duffin.
Yeah, because there is
Real
O'Grady.
Yep. And I remember this part too. Differently, where I don't even remember an Irish brogue on the guy, and I remember him talking differently with lighter or with gray hair. Actually, I remember it just differently, and it's like he's barely able to talk, and he's like, "You're gonna need a 4-leaf clover."
Yeah. So you need a 4-leaf clover, basically.
It's too late for that now. Yeah, we got to get you down. Oh, it's too late for that now, honey. To hell with me. How can we kill it? You need a 4-leaf clover, lassie. You need a 4-leaf clover, lady. Lassie. Yeah, good lass. And get a 4-leaf clover. Then maybe fuck you, Lucky Charms will actually work.
Sorry, I'm like responding to my mom. So if I feel like I rolled my eyes, I'm like,
just don't let her know that.
Yeah, they're magically delicious. Yes. So this is where he tells her a 4-leaf clover, freshly plucked from the clover patch near the well.
Beside the well.
You gotta put it on his body.
Touch him with it.
I said, touch him, and then you can kill him. It's kind of like with Child's Play, how you couldn't kill Chucky until his heart became human.
Yep. Oh,
in this kind of, yeah. But it makes sense because he was like, how they set it up at the beginning where it's like he knows what to do. Okay, sorry, reading my text.
Yeah, he is kind of like Dr. Loomis, essentially, except that he's not a doctor. He's a crazy, greedy Irishman that got fucked up.
No, but in this case, like, it's like he makes sense because, it's set up that he knows what to do at the beginning of the film. So it's not like we didn't see it and now he's giving her tips on how to kill him.
I mean, the reason why he's after these guys right now, folks, is because she gave him the gold. He got the gold back. But when he counted it, he didn't get all his gold back. So, yeah.
Yeah, because he's counting it, like I said.
98, 99. Oh, those little bastards.
Yeah.
It's not kind to shirk a leprechaun. Leprechaun. What's funny is 3-leaf clover equals shamrock, very Irish. 4-leaf clover, not representative of of Irish clover or culture. Oh, really? And who put that thought in your head? Greg Irons. It's the luck of the Irish. And don't you ever believe different? Yeah, I also recently watched The Banshees of Inisherin, and it's like, that movie was just so fucked up. I mean, they had a green light there, folks. That green light just wickedly threw it off for me. You shouldn't be picking for 4-leaf clovers out here, little lady.
Oh, in this scene here, where it's like,
yeah, it's like,
I forgot about this part.
Yeah.
She impales him with the nightstick.
Oh, yeah. I love what he does. He goes into the car, grabs the cop's face, rips the face off, puts the eye from the cop in his eye to heal himself. I'm thinking to myself, that does twistedly make sense.
It does.
Because this dude is literally one of those mythological creatures that kind of comes out for a period of time, much like the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers.
Mm-hmm. And the whole, like, you have to believe scene.
Yeah.
Which is like, you have to laugh because...
Fine, I believe. Oh, fuck, there it is.
The boy then takes the leprechaun with the bear trap.
Yeah. I love that. It's like, you gotta believe.
Yeah.
Fine, I believe. Oh, shit.
Fine, you just gotta believe.
Fine, you just gotta believe. God damn it, Ozzy, would you shut up? I love this. It's like, you're sick of your magic and your stupid fantasies. It's too late for that shit. We don't have time. Just sitting the damn close.
The thing is, you just lost your faith, you gotta believe.
All right, fine, I believe.
All right, fine, I believe. Here, look. Boom. 4-leaf clover.
Yeah, I believe. Fine. Oh.
And I love, like,
it glows,
and the,
yeah.
oh, look, a light.
Yeah, right? It's like, oh.
That she, like, as soon as she's, like, had faith, she finds one. And so this is how. Okay, so basically, Ozzy comes across Leprechaun trying to kill Alex, and Ozzy tells him, like, this coin is in my stomach.
Yeah.
Which is very noble.
Then I want your belly.
Yeah.
Which I also remember that too. It's like, then I don't, or the way I remember it is, then I don't want you. I want your belly. Except that that's not how it happened. And it's like, geez, why am I remembering this all differently?
I don't, yeah. So the Leprechaun's in the process of killing Ozzy, and this is where I got the quote for the thumbnail, pretty much. Because Alex has a slingshot, wraps the 4-leaf clover around like a pebble.
No, it's his chewing gum.
Or is it chewing gum? Okay,
his gum right there.
Chewing gum. And this is where
while he's getting sliced up. Hey, Lep. I love that. Yes. What the fuck? Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
And to this day, folks, that is one of the most iconic freaking lines in a horror movie today. Even though it's like a B-rate horror movie, it still is something that people remember today if they have seen this movie. It's like, fuck you, Lucky Charms.
Well, the goal would be like basically passing through the digestive tract. So at some
Yeah.
point, Ozzy would pass it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where in the digestive tract it would be at this point, but it wouldn't exactly be just digested.
It would be entering his large intestine.
Yeah. So it's like at some point, once he because no one goes to the bathroom in this whole movie, pretty much. So at some point, Ozzy would be going to the bathroom and passing a gold coin.
And considering how big that coin is, it would hurt.
Yeah. So. But that's where I got the quote for the thumbnail, and I had to, obviously bleep out the word fuck.
Yeah.
For YouTube. So, and I shoots him, and it ends up in his mouth.
It's like, oh, shit. Choke on that,
Yep.
she said with glee.
Yeah. And I like this makeup.
Yeah. The
When he
rotting
walks
effect, very
the wall.
Gremlins.
Yeah. Because it's not just touching him, it's like inside.
Yeah, he's swallowed it.
Yeah.
So it's like ripping him apart inside. A 4-leaf clover to this dude right now is literally like he just swallowed a bunch of razor blades. And somebody poured acid on him just because he's weakened.
Yeah. So it's like, I love the makeup here.
Yeah.
It's very well done.
Whew.
Like his skin's melting, his powers are weakening.
Yeah. And that's the puppet.
Yeah.
This is definitely not work. He was looking way too thin. I did a smart thing. Hey, what's that? Gotcha.
This
Then
I
he
like,
comes
up, and all you see
Yeah.
is that.
Yeah, that is just like the stuff of nightmares right there, folks.
Yeah, remember practical effects?
Right? Yeah. I want me gold. It's like, dude, you want a facial or some skin grafts, at least.
They can just like gun butt someone with the
Freaking
or,
shotgun.
like smash them with the gun butt.
I mean, at this point, I would have been like, boom.
Yeah.
I'll give you some gold. But instead, he freaking just douses the well and blows it. It's like, there you go. That
Yeah.
could work. There.
And that's what brings the sheriff's office to the property.
I love how they freaking just drift right in.
Mike Hill member for 27 months, like you says, which one is worse, in space or in the hood? I agree with like Trey. In space
Yeah.
is worse because at least in the hood has relatively funny moments,
Mm-hmm.
but in space it's like, yeah, it's worse. It's worse of the two.
Definitely.
This is what brings, and I bet that's pretty much the end of the movie because like once like the sheriff
he's-
the cop
yeah.
cars comes pretty much is like when the credits roll and you see like the leprechaun is still alive because he's cursing the well.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Curse this world that me soul shall dwell. So he's basically, and then you go to the second movie and it's ignores the events of this one. It's like a different leprechaun pretty much. So it's like
Different leprechaun, same actor. So, yeah. Maybe it's like his pissed off twin or some shit.
mm-hmm. And he's trying to perform this wedding ceremony, which is like this whole like linchpin of like the plot in Leprechaun 2. Not just like looking for his gold. Yeah, so like if you're looking for continuity in these films, no
Yeah.
real continuity in these films. Pretty much, it's just a leprechaun character. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the same leprechaun character, and he's put in a situation where it's like he's either looking for his gold, trying to get married, and just out killing people. Them say "Kiss Me, I'm Irish." Yeah, pretty much. So, but anyway, that is Leprechaun. From the early 90s, 92, 93 time frame.
Yep.
So again, no matter how Jennifer Aniston wants to ignore this movie, IMDb says otherwise. So, like, IMDb is like, you know what? Yeah, it's your first film, lady. So, but anyway, that is Leprechaun, and next week will be Leprechaun 2. Like she wasn't bad, and she's actually like impressed the director. And like I said, he fought to have her in the movie because the studio wanted like this very Valley Girl looking actress to play the part. Like not a specific actress, like they're just a type, pretty much. So they were like looking for like a Valley Girl look, and he convinced the studio that or he told them that he would bleach her hair if he let them cast her.
Yeah.
They let him, and he subsequently forgot to bleach her hair. So,
I mean, I really do like the movie. It's a great horror movie for the 90s. I actually remember it being my dad renting it from the store. It's like, we're gonna watch a scary movie. Are you in? I'm 8. Of course I'm in. So yeah. Well, actually, I hadn't turned 8 yet. Back in 93. I mean, well, no, I was 8 because it was on VHS in the summer. So actually more like the spring. Around April was when we watched it. But yeah, it's like, there you go. I thought it was funny as hell. I didn't get scared watching it. But then again, I was desensitized to horror movies because I saw Stephen King's Silver Bullet and Fright Night when I was 4 years old. So
yeah. So I watched this film, later, but at the same time, it's like I've grown up watching Gremlins, Silver Bullet, Fright Night, and
we're desensitized to it, so we enjoy it better. Now, what movie did scare you a lot when you were a kid?
See, the thing is, the movies themselves never really scared me. Is if I had weird dreams afterwards. That's what technically would scared me, not so much the movies themselves.
You're not wrong.
I remember the weirdest dream. I remember the weirdest dream I had. I was watching a marathon of Friday the 13th movies because it was around Halloween, and they were on. So I just had them on, watched them, and then later that night when I went to bed, I had a dream that I was at Camp Crystal Lake. And in my mind, it made sense in the dream that Jason never looked in the cars. Somehow it made sense to me in the dream. So I got into a car and I was safe. And I would see him periodically cross, back and forth. Remember, like in the dream, and I'm just like sitting there chilling in the car going, he's never going to look in here. He never looks in the cars. Yeah,
he doesn't. The movie that did it for me, that actually scared, because it's actually the same for me, until when I saw Alice Through the Looking Glass, that when I was a kid, that Jabberwocky back then scared the fuck out of me. But the first movie the movie itself didn't scare me, but it was a dream that I had afterward. And I actually, last year had another dream that was it evoked that same childhood fear from the first dream. Gamork from Neverending Story.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The wolf with the green eyes that talks and whatnot. Yeah. And it's like, oh my God, that feeling of pursuit by that creature. And I had a dream. Oh my God. I have vivid dreams, folks. I mean, what's his name that played Negan was in that dream for some weird reason. And one of my brothers was in the dream. It just got weird. It's like, freaking, what's his name? Who plays Negan?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. You're talking about.
Yeah. He comes in. He's like, I ain't doing movies anymore. Here, you take the bat. And it's like, what? And then the wolf shows up, and I'm like, what? So it's like, I haven't felt that in a while. Got my blood racing a little bit. It's like, okay. Holy shit. Because I can literally remember the first dream I had.
Yeah, I was a little bit older when I saw The Exorcist, but I have to say that there was a scene that was taken out of the theatrical release. So if you watch the director's cuts.
Let me guess. Let Jesus blank you?
No, that wasn't that scene. No, it was
Really?
that would have freaked me out, and that was the spider walk down the stairs.
Yep.
If I had seen that in theaters, I would have noped the fuck out of that theater if I had seen that scene. Because like the theatrical release, that was cut from the theatrical release, and then you
Yeah.
watch like basically the direct like the extended cut, and
Yeah.
it added that back in, and I was like, nope. Nope.
That noise it made. It's like, oh yeah, that does it. But yeah, I thought that they would have actually cut that other scene, that let Jesus blank you scene, out of the movie, and it's like, yikes, man. Because I saw The Exorcist as an adult, folks, and that movie creeped the hell out of me as an adult. When I saw that scene, it's like, whoa, no, hell no. What is going on here? Holy.
Was I born when The Exorcist came out? No, I was not born when The Exorcist came out.
Yeah.
No, but I saw it when I was.
Yep.
I saw it when I was 14.
Yeah.
Roughly.
So yeah. I mean,
yeah, it was still the VHS, so it wasn't like a DVD or anything. It was still VHS, and so it basically had like a documentary after the movie, basically. So you had like so it's not like DVDs where you could select special features or anything. So you had to watch the movie and then like just sit through the documentary at the end of the film. And I remember part of the marketing for The Exorcist was they had the doll where Reagan's head spins around. Mm-hmm. They took that doll and stuck it in a car outside a theater.
Oh my God.
They had it set to a remote control. So periodically when people would pass the car, they would spin the head around to get people's reactions.
Yikes, man.
He's Zechariah. So it's like, yeah, that was the marketing. Yeah, like wouldn't fly nowadays, but they were perfectly willing to scare the shit out of people.
Yeah. And Max von Sydow was not as old as he was, or as he looked in that movie. They actually had to age him up with makeup. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I saw Max von Sydow in The Exorcist, and he looked old. Then I see him in when I went to see Star Wars Force Awakens in theaters, it's like, wasn't that the guy from The Exorcist? How has he not aged?
But you can see, like, how he looked younger just with Dune 1984.
Yeah.
Dune 1984 is about 11 years after The Exorcist.
And then also later on in Judge Dredd, he played Chief Justice.
Yeah.
And it's like,
he's been around for decades.
Sadly, he's no longer with us. Dude was a legendary actor.
But anyway, that's Leprechaun. So basically tomorrow, and Orchat will go into this, I'll be on his channel, but next week will be Leprechaun 2. So basically, so you can say, "Kiss me, I'm Irish," pretty much. So they wanted to have that line in the movie. But anyway, so Orchat, let everybody know what you have coming up and what the singles will be and all that fun stuff.
Well, folks, tomorrow's single is going to be 13th Warrior, where an Arab named Eben is going to be going to the north. Eben. I love that. But yeah, also Friday is Uncensored, where it's going to be like 10 p.m. Also, Sunday is Weekly Recap, where I talk Hollywood stuff. And Tuesday is going to be, I do believe, Clash versus Wrath of the Titans for the 1s versus 2s on Tuesday. Yes, I am very much aware that both of those movies are not good, but I enjoy them. So, especially with Bill Nye in the second one. But
you're talking about the remakes.
Of
Titans.
Okay, the remakes. The 1s versus, or it's 1 versus 2, because they didn't do a sequel to the original.
That's when you said like Wrath of the Titans. I'm like, oh, you mean the
those ones, those bad ones. Yeah, I know. But yeah, also the Barroom Podcast Tuesday night on Society Reviews channel, and Mara's channel for Leprechaun 2 next week. So yeah, and then we're going to be doing 47 Ronin. Folks, we are going to be geeking out for that one. Trust me. Well, I will at least.
So, but anyway, yeah. So tomorrow obviously will be the 13th Warrior, so that'll be about 8 p.m. Eastern, and then Friday my plan is to be on my Twitch, playing some Helldivers 2 because we're kind of relegating Twitch to just multiplayer games.
I heard that game is actually pretty good.
It is. I think it's like more fun when you're playing with people, but the game itself is fun. It's pretty much like if Halo ODST and Starship Troopers essentially had a love child.
Yeah.
It would be Helldivers 2. And then plan is for an afternoon kick stream on Saturday. I'm playing some more of the Mass Effect Legendary Edition because I kind of got the bug again. I enjoy very much playing the Mass Effect games. -3 for the most part, even though it's really the end of 3 that just gets me. But for the most part, it's 1 and 2 definitely. So I got the bug again, so I'm going to be playing a little bit of Mass Effect on Saturday afternoon, and then on my Discord, thank you, Trey. I do watch parties roughly every other weekend, and we'll be watching Batman and Robin this Saturday, and then like I said, I'm being showing a mix of not only bad films, because like Batman and Robin, but good films, classic films, and the like. Well, it's both, Trey. But anyway, there it is, chat. So, see you all tomorrow for the 13th Warrior. So have a good rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And we will see you all tomorrow. Peace.
Fare thee well.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.